Attorney Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Put your questions in the comments now because I want to go ahead and answer your questions. So next week, we will be starting off our discounts and handing out free consultations next week from the 11th to the 15th. So that is where you should stay tuned and get ready, get your phones ready to follow the instructions. So we have instructions every day to allow you to get the opportunity to get free consultations. I'm handing out 10. So 2 free consultations next week between the 11th and the 15th per live. So that's going to add up to 10 free consultations that you will be able to schedule. So please stay tuned, especially next week. I know this week has been hectic because I know we're probably all busy. So thank you for your time. I know it's a Christmas season and you know how that goes. We're all trying to get things done before the end of the year, trying to keep up with, just close out tasks. So the same is happening here at the firm. We are getting our new clients who are joining, and we want to make sure that we treat each case with urgency. And so we're doing a lot of work with our clients. And so it's a busy time. But next week I will make sure that I'm on here. We're going to be on here 12:30 every day to be able to handle those free consultations. And then you'll have a special discount during that week as well. All right. So now I want to answer questions. So, the question here is, can you get a work permit? And I'm just going to open up the floor to all of you to ask that question. You can tell me what the situation is, and then you can always ask if that's a situation that could qualify you for a work permit. Now, keep in mind that when it comes to your personal situation, I may not be able to give you a yes or no answer, especially when it comes to the work permit. In that case, what you will need to do is schedule a consultation. But there are certain things that will definitely get a no from me. So, for example, if you're coming here, say you came here yesterday, you just flew in, landed with your visitor's visa. Can you get a work permit if you landed here with your visitor's visa next week? Can you just pull up the work permit application and apply? The answer would be no. If all you have is your visitor's visa and you want to work, you cannot qualify for the work permit. But but situations can be different, right? Say you come here on your visitor's visa, but when you landed here, you started to realize that you can't go back to your country because you're being targeted there. Maybe you've been threatened with violence. In that case, can you qualify for a work permit? You may be able to, for example, if you qualify to apply for asylum. Or if you're from a TPS country. So if you're from a TPS country, that's temporary protected status, where there's certain things. So for example, Haiti in 2010, it was the earthquake, and many Haitians were able to maintain a TPS status for that time. And now it's because of the conditions that are currently existing there, they've redesignated Haiti as a TPS country. So in that case, certain Haitians that have been here, from what they usually have dates that the Haitian citizen has to show that they've been here for. And so if they've been here for that period of time, then they could qualify for TPS. Now, a number of countries have been added. I believe, for example, Ethiopia is one of them. There's Sudan. I believe Cameroon is also on the list of countries where you can obtain TPS. So there's a list of countries. There's Venezuela as well. And of course, I just mentioned Haiti. Jamaica is not one of the countries for TPS, so you don't qualify there. But if you're coming from Jamaica, you've landed here with your visitor's visa, and then you realize that you can't go back to Jamaica because you're being targeted because of your beliefs, maybe because of your identity, maybe because of your family affiliation, maybe because of your political affiliations, then that could open the door for you to be able to apply for asylum. And when you do apply for asylum, 150 days after applying for asylum, you are able to then apply for your work permit. And at the on or after 180 days, you can be issued the work permit. Will applying for asylum as soon as I land to the USA with a tourist visa affect my case? So no. Asylum is there for you to be able. You do have a time limit to apply, so you should not be waiting. If you know that you need to apply for asylum, you should not be waiting. In this case, they don't have the 90-day rule, doesn't, for example, apply to asylum. The question is your claim valid? You have up to 365 days after your entry. So you definitely have some time to get legal advice. So don't go applying for asylum until you get legal advice. Make sure your case is strong. So get legal advice. Make sure that you can start gathering the evidence for your asylum. And, for example, when I represent my clients, we work very hard on it. This is not I don't there are some shops which I don't believe they should be in the business of doing that. Some corner shops that they say they do immigration, there's no attorney there, and within 2 hours they're filing your asylum application. Absolutely not. That's not acceptable. That's because with asylum you have to make sure that you understand that you qualify. You have to make sure that at the time you're applying, that you know how you're going to follow up with the evidence. And so when I'm doing that for my clients, I understand the legal arguments. I understand what needs to be submitted on behalf of my clients. And I understand at that point that they qualify for it based on my evaluation of their case. So, just be very careful with how you use asylum. Asylum is not something you use just to get the work permit. Asylum is something you use to get relief. And then one of the benefits of applying for asylum is they help you to get that work permit. So keep that in mind. Now, another thing I want to mention here, now that we're on the topic of asylum, is you also have to be very careful. Don't let, I know that laws are changing in some states like Florida and Texas that have been alarming. And because of that, many people run to not attorneys, but they run to people who tout themselves as immigration experts to get assistance about their options. And then guess what happens? That person tells them about asylum. But not only does the person tell them, the person paints this picture like all you do is you apply for asylum and you'll get the work permit and you'll live happily ever after. They will suggest that you tell certain stories about why you can't go back to your country. And then you find this out later that one, if you present any kind of information that's not true, you will be permanently barred from getting any other types of benefits. You will be referred to immigration court and you will be deported. So the penalties for frivolous or false asylum claims is very, very severe. So you could be digging yourself into a deeper hole by doing that. So it's not worth it to do it that way. Another thing is that with the asylum, you usually have to apply within 365 days after your entry into the US. If you've been here for 10 years, And then you go to one of these people that say, just apply for asylum, you get the work permit. Well, another thing is that you've missed the deadline and you have to show why you missed the deadline. Or when you get to the final interview and they evaluate your eligibility for asylum, they're going to deny your case and refer you to immigration court. So keep those pros, mostly the cons. If you're gonna, you can't treat asylum as if it's just a quick piece of paperwork that you can submit. It doesn't work that way. And each one of my clients, when I apply for them, they do qualify for relief, and so we move forward that way. So always don't just jump to asylum. Asylum isn't there because just for anybody. It is there for certain individuals who are afraid to return to their country because they're being targeted or threatened in some way. So get legal advice. All right, can you adjust from asylum to marriage? So if if you're going through asylum and now you're married, so something has changed, you're married, then it is a possibility. But how you're going to go about it could be different. For example, if you say you're in court already, then it's not going to be as simple as just getting married and switching to the marriage-based process. You may have to ask the court to terminate or close your case. You may have to ask and you might have to ask the court to do that, or you might have to submit a joint motion with opposing counsel to do that, to terminate your case, close the case. If you are at the USCIS, you've never been referred to immigration court, then it's a possibility to adjust status. But the other question is, how did you get here? Did you come through the border, or did you go ahead and did you get your visa to come in, and did you apply for asylum? So it's still a very complex question, and this is where you need to schedule an appointment. Another thing is it advisable to switch from asylum to the marriage-based adjustment of status case? So this is where it's very, very important to schedule your consultation. All right. Okay, so today my I-130 got approved based on marriage with a USC. What does this mean since my I-485 is still pending for 15 months already? Okay, so that's a great sign. So for example, the last time that happened, it meant that my client got the green card in the mail shortly thereafter. They may ask for the medical for the adjustment of status application if you haven't submitted your medical yet, and so you may get a letter just for asking for additional information before they send you the green card in the mail. So while I'm not your attorney, I can't tell you for sure. It looks like a good sign. Usually, another reason why it's a good sign is the purpose of the interview is usually to figure out if you have a bona fide marriage. The I-130 petition is where you have to prove your bona fide marriage. So if they're approving that before you even got to the interview, it means that they're probably not seeing a reason to interview you unless they have questions more about the adjustment of status side, your admissibility, maybe your immigration history. If they don't have those questions, you could get your green card in the mail very soon. Okay, how can you apply for working permit on asylum? So 150 days after you apply for the asylum, you are permitted to submit the work permit application. At that point, they will process it. And at the 180-day mark, they'll issue the work permit. On 180 days or after, they'll issue the work permit. Have C09 EAD and filed VAWA bans December. When will I get VAWA EAD, or should I renew? So you're gonna have to renew your work permit. So when you request a bans, it means that you are saying, please transfer your I-485, your adjustment of status work permit application over to your VAWA process. So it enables you to continue to work on your current work permit and continue to renew your current work permit. So no need to apply for the VAWA EAD. Now, once you're approved for VAWA, they'll send you a new EAD with a new date, 2 more years for the VAWA EAD, and then you'll move on to get your green card. Why would I get a medical RFE right after filing VAWA? So I'm not your attorney. I wouldn't be able to answer that, but it may be because they're still in the process. So the process of the marriage base is still going forward. So maybe something isn't aligned there. But I'm not your attorney. That's where representation is very important, and you need to get representation. Where can I check the status of my T visa application after I get the notice of application form 797C? Great question. Because of the confidentiality of this type of T visa application, they will not post your status updates. This is the hardest part for my clients, is that they can't they can't go online and see it for themselves, and things tend to be very quiet while immigration is considering their case. So we usually go through a quiet period, and then boom, we get the approval, and that's all great. The wait then feels worth it. But while my clients are waiting, we do have to continue to reassure them that everything is working the way it should work. Nothing is awry, because they're on edge for that time. But you cannot check the status because it's confidential. The T visa is for victims of trafficking, and they take confidentiality very seriously. Now, if we do have concerns, if there needs to be corrections, there is a special email where we contact the USCIS office, the Vermont Center, directly, and we specify what issues we need to clarify with them directly. Only attorneys can contact them through that email. So it's very useful. And if we need to make any corrections there, then we can contact them. Otherwise, you have to do it in writing. I'm an adult child on a visitor's visa. I'm in status. Mother's a green card holder. Can my mother file for me while I stay in the USA? Great question. And this is one of the common issues here. And I will give you the answer to this in many different forms, because I think it's important for you to understand it. So you're an adult, you're 21 or over. When under immigration law, when you're 21 or older, you're an adult. And your green card holder parent wants to apply for you. Can they just submit that petition, apply for you one shot, get you your green card while being here? Very unlikely in your case. Even though you're in status, there is something called a priority date. That priority date is kind of like the number you get on a wait list. When you go to the bank and you pick a number, and then you have to wait, or the DMV. I think they do that more so at the DMV now, where you pick a number and then you have to wait until they call your number to go up to the counter. Well, the same thing happens with the priority date. The priority date is the number. And right now, the wait list for your category of your adult, unmarried adult child of a green card holder is 5 to 7 years. So what that means is your number is not going to go to the top of the list. Your priority date is not going to come to the top of the list until about 7 years from now. Uh, no, because you have to keep your status. You're right. So if you came here on a visitor's visa, you have 6 months. You don't have 7 years. So there's no way you're going to be able to maintain your visitor's visa, your stay here in the US for 7 years straight. So that's what makes it impossible to stay here and adjust status while your mother files for your green card right away, right? If say no, because this is a complex issue, and if you are in this situation, you need clarification, you need to get to the bottom of this. This is where the consultation is important. If your parent, say 7 years ago, your mother had filed the I-130, you're visiting her here now, and you check your status. Hooray, you got your you already have your approved I-130, but now you're just waiting for that number to become current. You happen to be here, and then you get the notification, your number is now current, your priority date is now current. Then in that case, you would be able to file for adjustment of status, because one, you have your approved I-130 petition. Two, your priority date, you've waited for the 7 years, you happen to be here in the US, now your priority date is current, and you're here in the US. So you can then apply for adjustment of status then. So I have just demystified something that I think a lot of people are either wanting to know about, and then there have been a lot of mistakes regarding this issue as well. All right. How if you're here for 3 years and you did not get a court date for entry in the US? So I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Can't wait to meet with you shortly. I'll see you soon. How long after marriage would you recommend starting the immigration process? Um, there's no law that says you can't do it right away, but you have to make sure that you're in good shape to apply for it so you can have a smooth process. When I say good shape, do you have the evidence to show you have a bona fide marriage? Do you have everything lined up? Don't I often say this, don't just go filing a skeletal application. Should be the last resort here. How long are processing times for the I-130? So you're looking at about 9 to 12 months. How long after marriage do you receive your work permit or 2-year temporary green card? So for the work permit, it's usually 3 to 6 months as long as they have everything. The shortest I've seen is 2 weeks, by the way, which is amazing. And then the 2-year temporary green card, it could be anywhere from, the shortest I've had is 5 months. And then the longest I would say it could be 18 months. It just depends on, now this is where I say, representation matters, presentation matters. If you're submitting an application that doesn't have all the information, you can expect a longer process because now you have to provide that additional information later on. What if you're filed for and you turn 21 before the interview date? Do you still qualify as under 21? It depends on if you qualify for, so there's a special calculation that's done under what's called the CSPA. So it's a special law that's in place that helps the officers determine whether they should still process your application even if you got to 21. Now, for example, if the citizen parent petitioned for the child before they turn 21, then they will continue to process the application. Even though they're 21, still go ahead and move forward with it, because for immigration processes, the age is frozen in time as long as they file the petition before they turn 21. I'll be consulting with you in a few days. Awesome. You did it, or you scheduled early, and that's good, because my schedule is filling up. So make sure if you want to schedule the consultation, do it now. And even I know you may have to, you may be looking at a few weeks but it's not going to get any better. So you can call, you can go to the link and schedule your own appointment. But make sure if you want to get legal advice, you go ahead and do it now, because I do want to help you and I do want to give you at least the legal advice you need to understand your process and how you move forward, to move forward. August 23, applied for VAWA, more than 3 months since I applied. I-765, I-131 biometrics. How long do you have to wait? So I would say 9 months to 12 months to wait for that work permit, as long as everything has been submitted properly and completely. How long does it take to get the work permit after adjustment of status for VAWA? So it's about 8, I would say 8 months is the average I've seen, but it can go as long as 12 months. Do you eventually get a green card with a work permit? Work permit does not determine whether you're going to get the green card. I want to apply for the work permit. What's the cost? So I don't provide quotes online. I do have to do the consultation to be able to evaluate your situation first and then determine costs there. All right. So those are all the questions I'm seeing right now, and I do have to go. So I will be back. I'm working on getting back tomorrow at around lunchtime. So stay tuned, and remember that next week, from the 11th to the 15th. So I'm just making sure I'm right on this. So yeah, so 11th to the 15th, we're handing out free consultations, 10. So it's more than the last time we did 6. So we're doing 10. And you have to tune in for the instructions there. And we're also doing our discounted program again so that you can start off the new year right and get your legal advice, and we can assist you. You're welcome, Andrew. Thank you. I'll answer this one last question and then I have to head out. How long does it take to get? Oh, I think I answered this already. Work permit after VAWA. So you're looking at 8 months to 12 months to get the work permit. All right. Thanks, everyone, for your time. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. But remember, 11th to the 15th is really going to be the time that I am committed, hell and high water, to be here to hand out those 10 consultations and to be able to also kick off the discount program. So please join me then, but look out for me throughout the rest of the week where we can talk and I can answer some more questions. Have a great one. Bye-bye.